Ah, good. That stops entirely when I'm tabbed out of it. That's kind of cool. Thanks a lot, Nestopia. I'm glad to see that, like, every emulator does that, because I hate it. Anyway, we are playing the first Legend of Zelda game, because I haven't played it in a while, I think is a good way to put it. Just a while. Oh yeah, the name registration operates a little bit, well, I guess you would consider it pretty odd because it actually uses the select button. When's the last time you thought about the select button doing anything, right? Oh yeah, I have all my buttons assigned to the D-pad, not the stick. Now, excuse me 1 second. Yeah, sorry, I'm just popping up a little bit of resource over to the side because I don't remember where anything is. As we obtain a wooden sword. You can tell it's wooden by the fact that it's brown. I think. This is, of course, our basic sword. We're not doing a swordless run because, yeah, I last played this game in my 20s at the most recent, so that seems a little bit ill-advised. What is, of course, not ill-advised is obliterating all of these Octoroks where possible. And collecting the hearts that we don't need, because why not? There's a shop up there? I'm pretty sure that being that it's an early shop basically at all, it's contractually obligated basically to have a blue candle in it, pardon me. Wow, alright. Nice job, mostly to those guys for not dying, but there's a reason why I want to spend as little time around the Zolas as possible. Yeah, you just informed me of the existence of a... That's not an existence of the letter. This is just vanilla. We're not playing a rando today. Let me move that chat box over to the other side of the screen. Because, again, I haven't played this in a while, which is what I said earlier. And I figured, well, why not just at least have this as a game that I've played? And worry about playing a randomizer version of it later. Fairies in this game, I remember this, are a flat 3 hearts back. Oddly enough. I compare it to... Okay, yeah, this is the entrance to the forest zone. Oh, wow. Well, that's what I... Well, now that was just rude. Waiting to hit me until after I get the heart by like 1 frame. So, come on, it's not even that. It's not even that bad. Except for the game being a butt. Alright, what do we got in here? And the shopkeepers all go, buy something, will ya? Like we suddenly transport into New York for the shops. We got the magic shield for 130. I think it's called the magical shield in this game. Could be wrong about that. We get 4 bombs for 20 bucks. And for 80 rupees, we gain the ability to shoot arrows with our bow. Our bow that we don't have yet. We actually don't need to worry about that for a while after we get the bow. Which is probably better. You know, it's nice that they don't just go, hey, yeah, get out of the dungeon and go buy an arrow. I mean, it is incredibly weird to be like, hey, you need a separate item to shoot arrows, but this game doesn't track arrows as like an individual collectible. Instead, it costs you 1 rupee to fire an arrow. So yes, after you buy the arrows, you still have to pay even more. What are we... No, really, is this version of Zelda in the US somewhere that I don't know about? Like, come on. That is... That is bizarre from a perspective of, like, you know, story kind of... Wow, alright. That Armos really wanted to injure me. This guy has got keys for sale. 80 rupees each. Probably don't need those usually to buy. I mean, they're helpful, but nah. 250 for the blue ring. That'll cut the damage we take in half. And 60 for a chunk of, I believe it's referred to as monster bait. Or just bait. But otherwise, it's a haunch, alright. A haunch. As I really overdo it there. Ooh. Ah, yes, one of those red guys respawn. There were more of those red guys on that screen, I think. I mean, fair enough that all these ones respawned, but I could have sworn there was more than one red dude over here, so. Eh. That guy's out of here. Wow. Yeah, so if I recall correctly too, like hitboxes for certain things, like, yeah, see, that guy just damages us like that on the bottom, which is weird because I don't think he'll do it from the side. I think, if I recall correctly, yeah. Like, look at me try to walk into the Zola from the side and not take damage. But if I walk in the bottom, if I recall correctly, a lot of the, like, enemy damage boxes and stuff are basically a tile down from where you would expect them to be. Or something. Or, like, you saw that Armos spawned a pixel down from where it was situated when I touched the statue. Do not approach those things from the bottom is all I'll say, because you'll take damage that you don't need to. And who wants to do that, right? Ah. Yeah, I'll probably forget that at least once during this playthrough. But these enemies are also turning around on me pretty severely at times, so. Oh, I disagree with that, because I heard the sound of the sword happen, but I suppose you know better than I do, game. In parentheses, it is always like that, I'm just not used to it, because hey, wow, wouldn't you know that I last played this game when I was in my 20s, and I'm almost 35 now? Unfortunately. It's okay, I'll just get some chuckle fuck who's actually older than me, who finds this video on YouTube and is like, huh, look at how badly this person is doing. Look at all these mistakes. I would slap them so hard if I met them in real life, and like, hey, you want to do that? You know, some people are just really, really unimaginably immature. Speaking of unimaginably immature, that's me scrolling a map over. Because, yeah. In order to try to complete this in, like, one go without me basically scribbling down exactly where I've placed bombs on any of these screens and hunting and pecking for things, because there's a lot of hidden stuff on, like, all of these screens that you can get into using bombs. And of course, your bombs are severely limited. They are very rare drops overall. They only drop in sets of 4, and you're only allowed to carry up to 8 until much later on when you actually find some of the guys who are like, I bet you'd like to have more bombs. What an extremely normal thing to open a conversation with some random old man in a dungeon, right? That looks like a gambling den, and further down there's a door repair. Yes, door repair charges are a thing, so that's... You know, sometimes the game will just penalize you for breaking into everything that you think is getting into. Yeah, that I don't remember. And that kind of happens because that blocking things with your shield in this game requires you to basically catch the side of their hitbox a lot of the time. And it's slightly awkward, but to be fair, if you just had your shield literally right out in the center of you like it was the original Doom rocket launcher. Doom? Probably Doom. You know, it would be a little bit broken, because then it's just like, oh yeah, make sure you face every projectile that comes at you. Regardless, we're gonna farm ourselves up a blue candle before we start on the first dungeon, which I sort of remember how to get to without assistance. Parentheses, it is not actually the way I was going, but I mean, it gets you there eventually, but it's a bit of a wraparound, and that's quite silly. KI Gold on regular Switch Online. So that needs a parenthesis there of, because I think KI Gold is in N64, right? So surely that means that we're talking about expansion pack, right? Just that it's actually going to be on Switch 1. Yeah. Yeah, that's about what I was figuring would be the end result. Anyway, the first dungeon is off to the left. We'll deal with that in a... Hey. We'll deal with that after we go get our blue candle, which we can go buy one of right near the start. Which also means, really, we could just die and go get it, but... Nah, let's do that. Don't get hit in the shin by a rock. What a complete waste that would be. And, you know, it's not like we haven't played in an embarrassing manner yet, right? Oh, whoops. Right. Go actually to the one that's an actual shop. Not literally the start of the game. I just wanted to see if that guy disappeared or not, because he disappears. It's rather odd that, like, the one-off NPCs will just vanish like that. I mean, fair enough, game, clean up after yourself, but... Oops. And yeah, there's no way to speed up the text, as you might imagine. This game's a little too old for that. You're going to sit through every single one of those beeps, damn it, and you're gonna like it. Or something. My chart here is telling me that that's a door. There's a door repair charge on that screen. So we don't want to do that because we don't want to lose our 20 rupees that we don't have. Well, okay, now it's 5, so it would be losing, you know, we'd be losing slightly less roop that we don't have, but, you know, who wants to do that to themselves in the first place? This one, however, is a secret to everybody, apparently, whatever that means, but it's worth 30 bucks. I'm not gonna complain. Instead, I'm gonna sneak past here, get a little bit of lag. And we're gonna be inside of this very well cordoned off little rocky outcropping here. It's just a square in the middle of the water, basically. And enter level 1. This is our place full of statues here at the start of every level. Oh, real quick. Here's an easy tip. If you would like to not waste a key, for some reason this works. I do not remember the whole details. It's some sort of glitch, obviously. But beyond that, I couldn't tell you offhand. And yeah, enjoy this dungeon music because it's the only track that you'll be hearing throughout the entire game. You would have to wait until Zelda... Yeah, Zelda 2 had 2 dungeon themes. Well, actually... Yeah, no, I'm being an idiot here. Sorry. There is a different theme in the final dungeon. I just somehow forgot because I think it's actually more repetitive than this. But yeah, you would have to wait until Link's Awakening to have multiple themes across the regular dungeons. And if you wanted different music in every dungeon, you'd have to wait all the way until Link's Awakening. Being that this is the first dungeon, the amount of hidden walls or anything are pretty minimal. And I do not have anything pulled up for figuring out where any of that stuff is. So you'll get to see me fail to find things in some of the later dungeons where you actually can bomb open walls, and there's a few walls you can walk through entirely on the first quest. It's the one-way doors that become more of a thing in second quest, if I recall correctly. And yeah, here's a room, you just push a block and it opens a door for you. And you get an old man who can't spell peninsula correctly. As I proceed to pronounce it wrong, just to really cement the joke. Sorry, I know how to pronounce peninsula. What kind of an asshole do you think I am? Oh, right, it's peninsula. Sorry, I'm doing that on purpose. But the old man's eastmost peninsula is the secret thing. I forget what that's intended to refer to. If it's supposed to be like, hey, there's something over there that's important, but also I think that it technically has this side meaning that it's like, by the way, this also could refer to where the potion letter person is, I think. It's someone whose exact thing I forget. Anyway, more importantly, this dungeon kind of resembles a bird. I believe this is referred to as the Eagle Dungeon, usually, for the fact that it, or, pardon me, I think they're called labyrinths officially in this game, but don't take my word for it. Oh, really? I definitely was pressing down there before I moved to the side game, but okay. It's probably just from, like, a little bit of... I shouldn't say drift. Drift is definitely... Drift is a term that suggests something else, but it's from, like, basically switching from up to down on the D-pad, and sometimes you end up touching the side button a little bit. I wish it had been the other one. And of course, the stopwatch at the end of the room, which is the best time for it, right? I swear that the game's settings for that stuff, it feels like sometimes like they're set up to intentionally make you get those clocks at like the last kill, and it's not set up like that on purpose. It's just that it happens so often that it becomes kind of funny. Unfortunately, the game has decided to be quite stingy about heart drops after we died in a really unfortunate industrial accident. And also to give me, like, really awful movement patterns on these gorillas. But hey, at least we blocked that boomerang. That's good. There we go. There's the one that we wanted to hit the whole time. And yes, by the way, the low health indicator, very annoying. But that's a classic any sort of video game for you, where they're just like, yeah, by the way, we need to make sure that the player who doesn't look at the screen whatsoever, apparently, can see that their health is low. So we're going to really upset their other senses. Oh, I get it, because... So yeah, there is another item in this dungeon, by the way. We got the bow, and there's a boomerang in here somewheres. I forget exactly where, but also that guy decided to... Wait a second. Didn't I only take half a heart from collision from Gorilla earlier? What, they do like 3/4 or something? That was weird. Hey, get this guy back here. These Stalfos are doing the goofy movement patterns that are not harmful, but they're just like, oh, by the way, I don't know if there's like actual patterns to any of their movement. It looks all RNG based. It's not like they're following a wall every time or well, I shouldn't say that right now, because now they are all following a wall for some reason. It could all just... I would... See, there's this part of me that wants to go, oh yeah, I would assume that it is all RNG type stuff, but... There's a surprising amount of things in this game that are not completely RNG that you can manipulate in various interesting ways. And by interesting ways, I mean a large part of them are stuff like... Excuse me. Killing enemies 10 times without taking a hit, and then... Sometimes if you kill them in certain ways, like if I recall correctly, it is something like... If you kill 10 enemies without taking damage, but that 10th enemy is killed with a bomb, you are guaranteed a bomb drop. Asterisk, I do not recall if this is actually exactly accurate. Don't take it as any sort of... any of that. And there we go, there's our boomerang. Now this isn't quite the boomerang of some of the games in the series. It's not going to get us a lot of instantaneous kills. But... it's a projectile weapon that we don't have to pay for, and it stuns enemies. These, as you probably would expect, are assholes is what they are. They're wall masters, and they have what appears to be a strange relationship with whether or not they want to get knocked back. Because, unless I'm hallucinating heavily, one of them did get knocked back and the other one that I fought that came up afterwards, it's not even like they were stacked or something, did not. That was odd. Hey, that time we got a clock at not the very end of the room. That's amazing. Yeah, the boomerang is good for killing certain small enemies. In particular, Gels and Keys. Gee, I wonder if there's some sort of connection between them on a spiritual level of sorts. Spiritual not really being quite the correct word, but I digress. Regardless, the ability to stun enemies from range is still pretty handy. Even if it's not kill shots, but, you know, they can't all be the Link's Awakening boomerang, right? I think the Link's Awakening boomerang kills things. Okay, they only seem to get knocked back if they're stunned. Wait, no, that one was moving it. So, basically what I'm saying here is, imagine me just speaking several question marks and you have a good idea as to what I'm getting at in terms of communication here. Truth be told, there's no reason for us to kill all the wall masters, but I wanted their lunch money and other assorted accoutrements. Oh, do you only take damage from the front? Oh, it's got to be only the head then, right? I could have sworn you just slap Aquamentus wherever and it would be fine. But again, my memory of this is not necessarily super high. And it looked like it took a lot more hits than it did because iframes. But anyway, we got ourselves our first Dorito. There we go, our first piece of the Triforce, and I am presently looking for a quick thing here. I think you can probably guess what I'm looking for, anyone who knows the game. On any level. Okay, yeah. Right. I don't remember where that is, oddly enough. Like, there's a couple of very specific things that I remember where they are in this game. Like, I remember where level 8 is. I remember where the magical sword is. It's not called the Master Sword, guys. And if you say that, somebody will come out of the woodworks and fight you. Yes, the white sword. Yeah, because we have 5 heart containers. We can go get that. We can also bomb that wall open and find a potion shop that we can't use right now because we need the letter first. That's right, Link needs a prescription to be able to get that. And yeah, we gotta go through a couple of screens full of rocks and stuff to get that. Okay, yeah, so that strange old woman will just give you hints? Question mark? With, and by question mark, I also mean the air quotes are involved somewhere. Bah! I tried to escape from that and I did not. And then immediately get shot in the back. Thanks, game. Yeah, no, I wanted to just stun the Lionel and go because I was afraid of it getting me while I was trying to get in the door. Which is more or less what happened, so I had a good reason for it. But it didn't work out. Lionels do, like, disgusting amounts of damage. To put it quite simply. I mean, 2 hearts off of one of those is kind of dumb. There's no other way to put it. It's kind of dumb. The damage doesn't even get knocked to 0 if you have the red ring, which, for something that's just a random thing you find out in the overworld, and in some places you find multiples of them in one place, that's a lot of pain. Alright, now here comes a bunch of screens full of rocks. Oh yeah, Tektites in this game take some very odd paths, by the way. Like, that looked like it was going at sort of an angle. That's kind of funky. Alright. Past that. And here we are. Master using it and you can have this. That is a description that I don't necessarily know completely fits, but hooray, we got ourselves the white sword. You can actually get that before level 1 if you know where all the heart thingies are. And the white sword does twice as much damage as the wood sword, which is good because yeah, that's kind of helpful. Over here is a location called the Lost Hills. This is a concept that doesn't really come up a whole lot anymore. Excuse me, anymore in the Zelda franchise. I forgot that it blocked you completely from going to the right. That is unusual. And by unusual, I mean, ultimately probably not, but I thought for sure that it would be only blocking you going up and down. Because to get out of the Lost Hills, and I remember this from like millions of years ago, one of the weird handful of odd things that I do remember about this game is that you just go up 4 times. Not exactly much of a Lost type of pattern. And you can tell why they didn't really reprise it quite as much as they had the Lost Woods in various games. Other than the fact that thematically it probably fits a little better for it to be like a forest. But more importantly, just the fact that it is just, hey, just keep holding up until you get out. That's a little boring. At least the Lost Woods in this game, it's like up left, down left, if I recall correctly, which is a pattern for something that you only get 4 inputs for making the pattern. That's not the worst thing you could do, really. Yeah, P-hats, unsurprisingly, you can only attack them when they come to rest. And otherwise, they're quite irritating. Truth be told, the amount of, like, cause for me to actually kill all these enemies is pretty minimal, but yeah, I'm just gonna move on. Like, obviously, there aren't exactly kill room style rewards on the overworld. It's just, hey, do you want a little bit more money or something? Or maybe if you're very lucky, bombs. Oh, did that not count for that? That really didn't count for that. Okay. You gotta be very, very certain with how you place that. And thank you for giving me your heart container, sir. Oh wait, no. I'm having a bit of a brain not work good moment here. Is this the place where you get the power bracelets? Or am I misremembering horribly? I think it's somewhere else. I could scroll the map over, but well, we'll find out. No, this is a secret is in the tree at the dead end. Yeah, I remember it's a room with a bunch of Armos. And yeah, that will allow us to access the underground paths that I don't remember the whole way to navigate, so That'll be quite useful. Alright, just scrolling this over to the left at the right edge here. For reasons of... I would like to know where things are. Again, it's not like being able to see a map of everything is going to necessarily make me better at the game, right? Let's be reasonable here. And speaking of being reasonable, I don't know how that factors in anything, but this old man gives us a prescription to give to the old woman so where we can get potions. Hooray! Oh, by the way, let's show off what's in this tree real quick. Let's play money-making game. That's right. It's the counterfeiting dollar bills minigame. Except that they didn't have enough budget, time, or, quite frankly, processing power to code this on the NES. So, for now, it's literally just gambling. That's fine. That wouldn't possibly work out in our favor. And hey, I got here in, like, one go, but this guy is hiding a massive payload. Which we all know that we love to hear about a moblin hiding a massive payload, right? That's definitely a phrase that you really want to be saying in casual conversation. But with that 100 rupees, and this guy's 30, I believe he's got? Yeah, that's a 30. That's what I figured. That gives us enough to go and buy ourselves a blue ring. I say a blue ring as if there's more than one. But to my knowledge, no, there's only the one location where you can obtain a blue ring. And I mean, I could go get, like, the arrow or something, but we genuinely, we do not need the arrow for a good long time. That is true, you can buy it more than once, so I guess technically what I said is a load of crap, actually. So... it's just that it's one of those things like, why would you, right? A kind of complete and utter sicko. Oh, well. As an avowed sickos.png. Maybe I can't actually say that. 'Cause that implies that maybe I might do it, but... And in here, however, we can see this old lady who just kind of stares at us vacantly. Show her the prescription. And she allows us to buy drugs. Well, that's... quite useful, actually. The ability to buy potions in, well, multiple places without having to worry about bottle management. I mean, you do have to worry about some micromanagement because you have literally only the one inventory slot for your potions, but aside from that... Anyway, I'm just cleaning these chuckleheads up so that way they don't bother me. The levers, as it were. And of course, for my efforts, I take massive amounts of damage, really. They're worth a whole heart of damage, which is a shockingly large amount, considering. But now they'll be worth a bit less now that we've got ourselves a blue ring. Which, of course, doesn't do anything until you leave the shop, for loading reasons. But this will cut the damage we take in half. And the game does have memory of, like, quarter hearts that you take, basically. So if something deals damage to you for only a half a heart, when it gets halved by the blue ring, it is not literally reduced to 0. Because if you take another damage from a source that's worth that amount of damage, see, we took the half heart anyway. It just doesn't render it. And over here, we can go get healed. That's handy. I mean, I guess it should say that it's also quite helpful because it means that we'll have a little bit of insurance for our sword beams, which are, as you've probably noticed, extremely powerful. The ability to fight things at a range and do this kind of damage is real good. Gee, I kind of wish I could go get the magic wand, is it called in this game? The scepter, the staff, the bonk stick. I wish I could go get that nice and early. This is level 3, so I mean, we could go do this now. We don't have to fight the dungeons in order, really. I think level 2 only gives you the magic boomerang, right? So we can go ahead and we can do this. Okay, yeah, magic wand or magical rod, pardon me. And here we've got Zulls. These are like the big grown-up versions of gels. They actually drop items. If you hit them with the wood sword, however, they split into 2 gels. I will not be showing you that because I already have the white sword. So my attacks already deal enough damage that I do not have to bother with that horse shit. Yeah, bomb wand is a function that's added in the randomizer. And let me tell you, when I actually do Z1 randos, that's probably going to be on all the time. Unless I were to go crazy and just be like, okay, I'm going to do tournament settings, but as I don't really ever see myself getting involved with any sort of like randomizer tournament because I just do them for fun, and I personally do not enjoy speedrunning as a thing to do. Thing to watch, sure, but thing to do, I'll let those happen on their own. Like that 3-hour seed that I had on Tuesday of Metroid Prime. That just happened all on its own, but yeah, so in case it wasn't like dizzyingly obvious, Dark Nuts have shields and also are armored, so they block you from the front. But apparently they're completely bare back under those capes because you can backstab them just fine and they'll keel over like a thing that keels over. They also kind of got like cat heads if you look at them from behind because of the fact that they've got like the goofy sort of Viking horn helmet thing going on. And I literally just passed through that dude. That will never be replicated by me. How incredibly bizarre. They're quite good at turning on a dime, as you can tell. You should definitely try to avoid being close to them if possible, because that's a real good way to get yourself hurt in ways that are not great. Hey, we got a bomb that we picked up completely too early. I haven't even gotten to use any of my extra bombs here. Listen, We get the raft. The raft is an item that is not used in any dungeon, but you do have to use it to get to one of them. I think it's only one, it might be two. It also gets you to a heart container, I remember that. Anyway, yeah, a big reason why I would also use Bomb Wand in Rando is because then at least the magical book is useful. It's kind of a downgrade, it feels like a lot of the time, because you'll often get into a position where it's like, oh, the enemy will take damage from the fire that comes from that, as opposed to the magic wave. I completely talked over our first encounter with bubbles, but you guys know what those are. You've all played these games before. Interestingly enough, in OOT, bubbles were just things that hurt you. Instead of disabling your sword for any period of time. I mean, I guess, sure, you can't hit them with your sword at first, but is that really the same? Because, more to the point, in this game, bubbles are there to cause problems for you. And we reveal the pattern of the dungeon, and oh my goodness, it is a symbol that a lot of people would make some faces at. This is the Manji dungeon, Manji Labyrinth, but obviously that's a term that is not well known here in the US. So unfortunately, it looks a little bit more like... Yeah, I ain't gonna say it. You guys can figure that one out for yourselves. Up here, what's our boss for this dungeon? Oh yeah, it's a Manhandla, right. Yes, it's called a Manhandla, which is like its own weird sort of humor for this dungeon. Or something. You don't have to fight these things with bombs. It's just generally considered to be like easy and get a lot of damage in. Testatard, is that the name of the Manhandla in Japan? And they changed it to Manhandla in English? Like, that's a decision. Yes, we're going to rename this enemy, and we're going to rename it to Manhandler. Okay. I mean, don't let me tell you how to live your life, but that is a bizarre choice if I've heard any bizarre choices, and let me tell you, I think I just did. Don't you love that lag? Good old NES. Like I said, they couldn't possibly operate that counterfeiting minigame that I made a joke about earlier. Which was definitely a joke. I was gonna be like, no, that's serious, I swear, but I can't even do that with a straight face. Which would be the only part of me that would ever be straight. Yes, yes, easy jokes, I know. I'm just in here accidentally, I was gonna say accidentally stealing Pharaoh Burgundy's bit, but I don't think that... I think that joke is a little bit... He wouldn't say a joke that easy. Anyway, where am I compared to... Oh yeah, I'm just off to the side of where this map is. Anyway, that's enough of me talking about a guy. Okay, so again, keeping in mind that I have a map set up on the left side monitor, which I've said before. Listen, trust me, it's better this way. But also don't get all high and mighty like you've never looked at a guide. Anyway. Yeah, so it's quite wide, as you might expect. The world map The world map is shockingly non-small for the fact that this came out in like 1986 or something. I don't remember if it was 1986. I think it was a little after that. Anyway, let's try not to get speared in our bunghole so much here as we get into position to set this on fire. And then what did I just say? Yeah, see, in my case, what I have open specifically is a world map. And a big part of that is because, like I say, otherwise it would basically take forever of exiting and reloading screens quite a bit in order to repopulate them to... Repopulate is not the way that I need to phrase that, but... And not for the reasons any of you are thinking, but in order to be able to redo certain things on the screen, and also then I don't have to go and, like, quest for bombs for forever, it's a means of cutting down on the grinding, because I remember mechanically, at least the basics of, like, oh, well, I know how to get at all these things, kind of. It's just that I don't have skill anymore, or memory of exactly where anything is, so... You know. That, however, is level 8. Like, there's a lot of places where there's just, like, a couple of very suspicious objects. And that's one of them. That's one of the most obvious. In fact... Yeah, see, that's the other thing, is that you have to let the fire sit on the actual thing when it fades out. So let's try that again. Yes, see, here it is. Here's level 8. We could go in here and, I don't know, get stonewalled by a Goma, probably. Because I'm making a big assumption here, to be sure, but I believe there's a Goma somewhere in level 8. I know there's one in level 6. But obviously Goma can only be defeated by shooting it in its massive eyeball. And as we do not own an arrow yet, if we try to select the bow, the game will just say, don't. I do not remember offhand either, so I'm gonna not guess for now. I'm going to grab this magical shield. You know, really spend down our cash here. Because this will help us by letting us block fireballs. They don't deflect, but that's just an animation effect, really. That's not even a thing that does anything for us. You can't bounce the arrows or rocks or anything at anybody else. But yeah, there is every possibility that we will get our magical shield eaten by everybody's favorite enemy that was already everybody's favorite enemy in Oot. This here is the entrance to level 4. No, it's not. I'm stupid. That's somewhere else, but it is gotten to by raft. However, we do get ourselves a heart tank. Heart container. Heart tank, that's something in one of the Mega Mans, the Mega Man X games. One of, so it's more like 8 of the Mega Mans. Several of which are better completely ignored, and by several, I mean at least 3 of them. I mean, there's some sickos out there who will tell you that X8 is a good game, but, like, listen, if I had just played the 3 games previously in the series, I would probably feel like I was starving in the desert too. That's where, not actually where the power bracelet is. The power bracelet is significantly more up north. I believe. North, pardon me. West. There we go. Yeah, because it's off in the northwest section of the map, if I recall correctly. That's a big if. I mean, I could probably scroll the thing over and be like, hey, yeah, look at me. That's right. Random people on the internet, please get angry at the fact that I'm using guides. Like normal people. Anyway. Yeah, because I do remember, hey, it's in the mountainous region, and there's a big amount of Armos statues on that screen, and it's hidden underneath one of them. I just didn't remember exactly which screen, because, like I said, I don't remember a ton of things about this game, but I remember enough. Remember, I played this a few times when I was younger. I'm not willing to say I was ever good at it, because, well, for a big start, I suck at the Ganon fight. That guy's kind of a jerk. Anyway, we're gonna go and wrap around the map, and we're gonna go find that thing, and we have options, because this is a game... I enjoy this because of the level of open-endedness. Oh, by the way, here's level 4. We can go in here, and we can dig around for a little while. I said dig around, not until we find the step ladder. And then we can reenact bits from Ace Attorney. I was gonna say Ace Attorney 1, and I cut it off weirdly, so... But I think it's Ace Attorney, all of them, actually, where they have the, is this a ladder or a step ladder bit, basically. And if not all of them, it's quite frequent. That is what the reference. And here we have some Vyres. These guys are kind of like kind of like Zols, pardon me. But as you can see, they split even when you hit them with the white sword, and they turn into keys, and they turn into red keys for some reason. I don't know why there's red keys. I don't know. Do they? I can't do math on the fly. Can they go 3 times faster or something? They do seem to go at least a little bit faster, I'll give them that. Is there no difference otherwise? I gotcha. That makes sense, kind of. But a very odd choice, because, like, Zols and Gels don't do shit like that, right? I haven't been in a position where I've had to actually kill those with a wood sword in a very long time, so... I do not remember. I think we have enough money right now where we could buy an arrow from one of the shops, but I don't remember which one. Also, a lot of this dungeon is in darkness, so there's a lot of me just like bumping into things here. And who could imagine that I play worse when I'm unable to see? Oh yeah, that's got to be a thing you cross with the stepladder. Or perhaps it is part of a one-way path. That would be quite unusual for this game. At least for first quest. Second quest, well, second quest is just rude. Oh, here we go. Oh, buddy, we've got some likes. Let's try to not let them eat us or our shield. That part seems a little more important at this point. Wait. God damn, they're sturdy. Is that 5 or 6 hits they took? Probably 6. But what a lot of damage they were able to withstand there. Even more than I remember. Which admittedly is not saying a whole lot. Yeah, they are tremendously sturdy, which is a bit of a problem, but thankfully, it seems like they do always take knockback. Regardless, we got ourselves a stepladder, and that is pretty helpful. That should help us deal with some of those blackout rooms a little better, I assume. It also gets us at least one overworld item, so hey, I'll take a detour from the main path of doing everything in whatever order I was doing it in before. Oh, wait, no, this... Okay, I recognize this room type just by feel there, because... Ah, yes, so these guys respawn faster if you kill them with a weaker sword. It feels like they do. Anyway, the point here that I'm trying to make, and I am fumbling over all of my words as per usual, is that that room has a big chunk of land sticking out from the bottom, and water that is a minimum of 2 gaps wide on each side, so you cannot step ladder over it. You actually have to go around in order to get the map. And this is the snake dungeon, I want to say. Kind of just looks like a really screwed up letter P, but... Ah, hello, other manhandla. Can we bomb into that area? Yes! That was a very suspicious looking map shape, I'll tell you that for a reasonable price. And all we get for it is 10 rupees. I mean, alright. Can't really complain that much. Is that our first instance of, like, a mini-boss in a dungeon? Walk into the waterfall, this guy says. That... I don't think it's quite the advice that we're looking for, but... Could be wrong. Yeah, I'll always kill the enemies in a dungeon, because... You know, who knows when you could be at a kill room that, and it would actually be, like, valuable to fight everything. There we go. I think that's just one of the simple, like, those rooms with the weird snaky pathways in them that we saw earlier, but the difference here is that we can't really see, so it's a lot more complicated. Okay, yeah, there's a boss nearby. What's the boss of level 4? It's not Dig Dogger, I know that, because we don't have access to the whistle yet. That's level 5, I believe. It's not Goma. It's not the Dodongos. Oh, it's fucking Gleeok. Of course it is. It's this chode. Now, my memories associated with Gleeok are always like the 3+ head ones, but even the two headers are kind of jerks. You can see they take a lot of damage. They fire a good chunk of projectiles that you want the magic shield for, so good job putting that at the end of a dungeon full of likes. Ow, my ears. And also, once you kill a Gleeok's heads, they start floating around like the world's rudest ghosts, which... I say that, there is some hefty competition there. Ugh. Well, hey! Wow, good work, me. Back we go. Yeah, we're on the overworld, so we should probably start candling a little more. This guy's not worth a lot, if I recall correctly. Yeah, only 10 rupees. That's okay. I'll take it, though. Now, one downside that you'll notice of the fact that we're gaining all this health is that, unfortunately, we do have the matter that your health does not restore to full when you revive. So, if we die, we gotta go and refarm like an entire 6 hearts or whatever it is right now. About to be 7. On the other hand, we played the original Metroid like years ago, and that is a game that did something very similar, where you did not regain all of your health on death, and it was much worse in that game. It only put you at 30 energy. Which is really not much. At least in this game with 3 hearts, especially with 1 blue ring, you can take a couple of hits. But in Metroid, I feel like you die faster with your starting energy compared to this game. But hey, they were really just finding their feet with the Metroid series at the time, so... what can I say, right? Other than, wow, they were really not completely sure what they were doing there yet. Don't recall what's over there. Okay, yeah, it's a shop with a magic shield for 160. And a red candle. Red candle, god damn it. Keep saying it's... I think it's just that I would prefer to have the red candle because obviously it's significantly better. In a very specific way of, hey, you can actually use it more than once per screen. Unlike the blue candle, which you can only use once per screen. But here's one of the shops that has a thing that we're looking for, which in this case is our arrow. So now we can go and deal with level 8 if we want to, and go get our magical key, which will make our lives significantly easier. I mean, I don't know if we would want to go finish level 8, but we could at least go find the magic key. Which will be great, because I don't know where that is. I assume it's buried fairly deep in the dungeon, and I'm assuming that this is the land of blue dark nuts. Well, so far it's the land of Manhandla, so... And yeah, these statues are quite annoying. When the statues start shooting at you, that's not a great time. And here comes the room with all the tanks, because we got dark nuts of both color palettes here, and we've got Gibdos. Gibdos who are basically just fat Stalfos in this game. You say those guys care about bombs? And truth be told, I mean, they flashed, but I don't know if that was any substantial damage or even if it was real damage for that matter. They could have just been flickering at me to be like, ugh! As you can see, this room is quite painful. This would be a great place for us to have a potion, but in between of gaining like all of my other abilities first, I haven't had the money yet. And this is the... Of course, it's the fucking Bible. Well, I don't care about this. Later. Maybe at some other point I'll pick it up if I decide that the fire effect on the magical rod is actually useful, but my recollection of it is kind of no. It's not. It's a detriment. Can I get unbubbled, please? Listen, Redbubble, I'm just here to buy stickers. You don't need to sell me, like, poster prints of these things, but... Wait. Yeah, okay, so we're immune to the damage for now. There might be bombable walls in there, but I don't remember this dungeon's layout, like, at all, so... Go that side too, just to be sure. Oh, fuck! Oh, I didn't remember that I'm not in the wall, because it's a bomb hole. That's my fault. Obviously, I'm coming in here, like, severely underprepared, so... I am 100% reaping what I'm sowing here. I'm not gonna be an idiot and be like, oh, well, this is really unfair. No, this is... By this point, you should actually have stuff, but also... You think that'll stop me from being sad about it? These are pulse voices. You can kill them with your bow. And I think in this version, that's it. You can't use the recorder on them. On the Famicom version, the Famicom has microphones in the controller, so you can make noises at them and they'll die. Which is quite interesting. Yeah, I think I'm actually just gonna try coming back later, because being in here with, you know, not enough gear, probably not a great idea. Get yourself the magical sword before you do anything that stupid, guys. Yeah, we got the 100 from that guy already. That fairy gives us back a nice chunk of health. As I said before, it's a fixed 3 hearts from getting the random fairies. At least I believe it's 3. Which is interesting. Because they're so very associated with, hey, fills your entire health meter. Not in this game, they don't. I mean, in later games, they also have kind of limitations on how much they do, but they're a little variable. Because if you catch them and put them in a bottle, it's generally a full heal on revive, but if you're not getting res, then it's not. Dodge around these guys. Alright, there's nothing more for me to do in level 4. I don't have enough for a red potion, so I'm not going to spend on a blue potion, because it's not like later games where the blue potion is more powerful, because, hey, there's no magic meter in this game, so... Blue potion is 1 full heal, red potion is 2 doses of full heal. So, yeah, which one do you think I'm gonna spend money on when you consider that blue is 40 and red is 68? Which is a slightly odd number in terms of... What is that, 12 less than being double price? So that's... 12 is 4 times 3, so that's like a 30% discount for that second one, so basically a total of a 15% discount. Okay, that's actually a little more sensible, I just have never bothered to think about it. Anyway, up, left, watch your ass. Down. Left. And here we've got old sword shooty guys. Hey, Iron Fury, how you doing? Oh, darn it. I was really hoping that magical shield would be doing more for me here. But I'm also kind of playing a little sloppy here. Doing well. I mean, as usual, I suppose the most I can say is it could always be a hell of a lot worse, right? And frequently, it has been. This is just the OG, no randomizer today. Possibly in the future? But it's just been a very long time since I've played the original at all, so I figured why not? We're not quite at enough hearts yet to be able to go get the magical sword. And here's the 0 frames of animation ghosts. Also, yeah, that's another instance of a thing damaging you for touching the bottom of the gravestone or anything. Make sure you touch those from not the bottom, basically. Otherwise, you take unnecessary damage. Because the game is a little bit rude like that. It's the same thing that we saw before with our old friends, the Armos statues. Huh, well that's a surprise. This one I like quite a bit, so at least according to my recollection of it, which is at least good enough. Outside a couple of, wow, there's some stuff that I can get to way earlier than I thought, but then again, as I said earlier, I think the last time I played this game was sometime in my 20s, so we'll put that at an average of like somewhere around 10 years ago I last played this. And that'll tell you a lot. This is... yes, this is level Wizrobes. Yeah, it's a fine game. I don't really know a whole lot of people who, like, dislike it, to be honest with you, but I'm sure that it's probably more along the lines of people being like, oh, it's so aged, and, you know, I want my games to have full features and everything. Like, there's some people who are just, like, aggressively allergic to retro stuff, and that is a little bit silly. I mean, okay, yeah, that's about sort of... It is a little bit bare bones, but I generally appreciate the journey and the exploration and the world map. And I think that, oddly enough, this is a game that is surprisingly well balanced at times. I know that I'm saying that in the middle of Lionel Central Population U, but, like... Okay, these guys do 2 hearts of damage. That's a lot! Asterisk, I'm only taking the 1 because I'm in Blue Ring, but... Oh god, the lag. Okay, that's a bit of a problem, but, yeah, I mean, sure, these guys do a chunk to you, but I think about how much some of the monsters at the beginning of the Dark World in Link to the Past do. And it's like, gee, this seems sensible by comparison. Which it is still sensible, to be fair. And yeah, you compare this to stuff around the time as opposed to being like, oh, look at all these more fully featured games that are full of things that people really hadn't come up with very much at the time, or if they had, they couldn't implement very easily. And this definitely, it does what it sets out to do. Quite handily at that. Yeah, your options were... To put it simply, your options were limited. What do we got going on here? We got a door repair. We go down, there's gambling. Let's go to the left. And... yeah, okay. Just trying to get my bearings here. Hidden in this wall, this is the shop that has the cheap magic shield. Well, one of the two, actually. There's 2 locations for it. Wow. This is not the place where we can get the cheap meat, though, which is... You know, we don't need to be feeding expensive shit to any of the monsters. Come on. They're not that discerning. If Lank gave him a chance, they'd eat him. Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to hash out where there's like an easy heart container for us right now to pick up. And I think we're gonna have to actually go into a dungeon in order to get number 12. So... closest dungeon here is level 6. Much as I would really rather be dealing with that with the magical sword, I suppose I can give it a shot. Did I do 5 yet? I have not. I've done 1, 3, and 4. And 5... well, you gotta remember, I don't remember where half of everything is. I just remember that level 6 is literally right here. Oh, it probably would. Because level 6 is Wizrobe Central. as alluded to prior. And, oh, goody, if we go this way, we get darkness. So that's fun. Yeah, there's a big reason why I was like, oh, gee, I really don't want to be in here, but... I mean, I'll at least show off why I don't want to be in here, because... Yeah, those guys are kind of assholes. Like, ugh. Oh, I dislike them immensely. So... Do I remember where 5 was? Not offhand. I know where 7 is, and we can't get to it right now. 2 is a ways away. 8 feels like a bit of a no-go for the moment, just because that is a lot of... Yeah, Oh, yeah, right, 5 is at the top of the Lost Hills. I know what you're talking about. I thought that was something else for some reason, but now that I think about it, and the fact that we have all of the overworld heart containers, at least we should do, because of the size of our health meter. Yeah, okay, so... Right, that's the White Sword location. Whoops. It's actually to the right of here. Yeah, here we go. And this is just hold up until you get there. That is correct. I gotta go back and do level 2 at some point, but... Like I said, I think that's a bit of a ways away physically, distance. Wow, alright. I just walked straight into that like an absolute fool. Ah, right. Pole's voice. So this will probably be the level where they really want you to have your arrow for the first time. Because like I said, I think the first time you encounter Goma is in level 6. So this is the first time where the game's like, hey, make sure you have the arrow. You don't have to have it to fight Pole's voice, because they will die slowly against other things. But it one-shots them. And that's pretty handy. Yeah, I certainly do not remember. I know that level 8 has Dark Nuts, but yeah, this is... We want to come in here and get ourselves an instrument. This guy tells us about Dig Dogger hating certain kinds of sounds. Or certain kinds of sound, pardon me, it's only singular. Well, to be fair, I think most of us do. Alright, here's some Dodongos. I'll ignore those for a second and go exploring the rest of the dungeon here. Pick that up, pick that up. And yeah, our color palette here has given us red water. Not to be confused with lava, and probably not blood. But for all we know, it could be. It's just pattern limitations to the NES, really, but... It's a choice, alright. Yeah, the game has definitely given me a good chunk of health, which is great because I'm really overdoing the walking into dudes. I'm very haven't played this in a while, kind of. Okay, is this a... Yes. So if we want that map, we have to go around. Because that's one of those rooms that has the the outer path and then the island, which I described in the dungeon where we got the stepladder. Because you needed that for something else, and you need to go through one of those for, like, a compass or something. Might have been the map in that dungeon, actually. Wow, recycling things from one level ago, but that's fine, really. I got plenty of money, I can just... I can just deal with the mummy real easily with the bow. Oh, I spent 4 rupees on it. Wow. Well. Say, how fast can I shoot? And the answer is decently, but I'm only allowed 1 arrow on screen at a time. By my own admission, I don't use the bow very much in Z1 most of the time. But here I'm realizing I am awash with cash. And the only thing that I definitely have to buy anymore is the monster bait. Oh yeah, I can't deal with this guy right now. Bye, Dig Dogger. Bye, Dig Dogger. This looks like either the back half of a staircase or a place where we can bomb out of. Alright, it's time for some bombs. Like, otherwise this is just a weird room, really. So I suppose it's just a weird room, unless... Invisible wall. You know, fake wall, rather. Yeah, weird room it is! Alright then! If you could... Thank you for getting out of the way. I didn't think so, but it was worth a shot. Yeah, that would make sense. My brain was just sort of going, well, surely it would be two-way, right? Like, I'd be able to kill everything in there and gain access to the other side of the staircase. And the answer was no. I suppose I could go pick up the map. Oh yeah, it's one more down. We're still not at full HP because there's a lot to get there. Ah, right. It's because I was ignoring the dongos, right? Yeah, okay. I guess we can do this the slower way. Yeah, it's still quite helpful. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, I mean, I can go into the map room, but I am gonna have to... I end up on my... Oh, because I ran out of bombs, that's why. That makes sense. These guys are kind of jerks. Yeah, let's pick this up. Yeah, see, there's a whole little bit over to the left that we haven't explored here. Is there an area? Yeah, there's... like... Is my cursor visible on screen? It probably is. See, these 4 rooms over here, we haven't explored in here, but it's probably bomb-based, so I'm gonna have to... Okay. Well, then you can see what I was pointing at! That's actually all I wanted this time. Alright, come on, Gibdos. Cough up. I need some explosives. For reasons. Otherwise, I may have to go out of the dungeon and buy more bombs. Or... Oh yeah, this guy just tells us Dig Dogger requires an item that you don't have yet. Well, thank you. I never could have guessed that one myself. Yeah, I think we're going outside and we're thinking about where the nearest shop is that has bombs. Or else we're farming that one lever. 1 second. Gee, I think saying nearest shop that has bombs is a bit of a stretch, because they are all a fair distance. But I'm gonna need some of them anyway. Oh yeah, it doesn't want to let me go to the right there, so... Yeah, so I gotta go even further around. I guess I could just go fight the monsters in the dungeon. They have chances of dropping bombs, right? Gibdo's dropped bombs a few times, I think. Like, I think, interestingly, it's mostly the blue enemies that do that have a chance to drop bombs. Which is some interesting coordination. So, you know, the hell with it. Let's go back to it. And see if I reach a point where it's like, actually, this is not seeming like a possibility anymore. And back we go. He's not... The lever didn't respawn. That's interesting. And that is just another entrance to the dungeon because... Well, this game was a little bit odd in terms of its design decisions sometimes, that they just doubled up on some of that stuff. You know, first game in the series and all that. I could have gone in and shown you, but I didn't think about that at the time. And just to make clear, Pulse Voices do take a while to kill with your sword. That was 4 hits. Yeah, 5 hits, but it's doable. I'm sure everybody knows this, but I have this sort of, like, illusion of, oh, I'm definitely gonna show things to people with any of these games. But listen, there are plenty of people who haven't played these old games yet. Which may come as a surprise to some folks, but it's true. Somehow. Man, I wish there was another way to deal with the Dodongos without having to use the bombs we don't have right now. Take a heart. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the case, is that there's no lack of access. I mean, young people are objectively, like, worse at doing piracy. But also, I mean, I think there is a point where you look even at that and you kind of gotta go in the back of your head, like, come on, you can't possibly be that worse. And yeah, if you're talking about just things that are legally doable, and again, also, I'll go even further and say things that don't require purchasing anything used, because, you know, there's people who will say things in response to that, and of like, oh, well, it'll be hard to get a legitimate, you know, or everything's a ripoff, both of which I would say are not perfectly true in the same level, but also, you know, we'll say also that, like, with the asterisk of things that the companies would actually approve of you doing, basically, which, you know, fuck them for all the... Listen, quite a few of these companies wanted to stop used game sales eons ago, so regardless, the point is that, like, all of this stuff, the amount of people who have Switches is quite high, and I would hazard, although I don't have statistics to hand, hey, bombs, hell yeah, that the proportion of them who have access to Switch Online accounts is like minimum 80% of people who own a Switch. You know, do you think minimum 80% is a fair read there? It's genuinely not that hard to play Zelda of all games, right? Some other things will be a little bit weirder. And then there's just the distribution of games on Switch Online actually is kind of bizarre sometimes. I'll say that in a very neutral sense of the idea of being bizarre, BTW. Like, I'm saying, for example, I'm surprised that Operation Logic Bomb is available through Switch Online for the SNES games, which is a... Oh, we died. Oops. Oops! Operation Logic Bomb is a pretty good top-down shooter. Fairly short, from what I recall. Not a whole lot of levels, but still a pretty fun game. So it's just like... I'm surprised that that's on there, though, because Operation Logic Bomb is not exactly what you would call a well-known game. For a very long time, it's been a thing that I have cited as being particularly bizarre because the service Moby Games, which is one that we're all aware of, you know, big database of, like, all things video game, really, didn't have the US release cover art on there for it. In fact, it may still not. Which is odd because I have a copy of it that was released in America, and I have like half the box for it. It's an odd situation. It's what appears to have been a rental case. So, like, it's very strange to see that on there, because that's not exactly a game that I think a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I gotta have that on the... Meanwhile, there's got to be some stuff on there now that's like, why is this not here? And I'm not even talking about the RPGs, because, yeah, a lot of Square Enix games are just not there, period. But Square Enix, I've kind of discussed my feelings about Square Enix and, like, company rot a few times on stream. Square Enix is not exactly as good of a company as it was when we were kids, is all I can say about things. They have gotten a little bit on the greedier end of things. So I'm sure if they're like, oh yeah, we really want people to buy Chrono Trigger instead of being able to play it with their NSO subscription, as they don't have any means of you doing that on the Switch, to my knowledge. Oh, fuck. So that doesn't count to get the smoke in their eyes. Well, you guys better go down to, like, only 2 bombs, then. You're making me look like absolute buffoons. Yeah, just do things the easy way. Unfortunately, it's very, very cost ineffective. And yeah, it kind of exactly goes like that, is that Square Enix would just prefer to be able to extract money out of you through remakes and the like. You know, the Pixel Remaster series is a thing, so I understand the fact that Square Enix hasn't released FF4, 5, or 6 on... aside from the fact I say that, obviously this is sort of a bit of like, oh wait, no, Natsume released a remake of Wild Guns called Wild Guns Reloaded, and the original Wild Guns is still on the NSO SNES package. So that's a little bizarre that, like, hey, the one that they want you to spend money you get what I'm saying, that it's just different companies having different policies about that sort of thing. And it's unfortunate. Because yeah, there's still a lot of obvious things that are missing from the SNES collection. But hey, here's a bunch of these other games that you've maybe heard of once or less. Because whoever owns the rights to Jalico's library or whatever. It's not even just Jalico, but since I'm leaning on the Operation Logic Bomb example, that is a Jalico game, so yeah. Hey, Matt, and yeah, it's kind of a pity that we aren't anytime likely to get any of the Pokemon games, the old ones. But I guess that is probably a thing that would be more like, oh yeah, they'll sell it to you for $10. $10? What were they $10 for the Red Blue Yellow on 3DS, and probably also Gen 2, if I recall correctly, was in there as well. Yeah, so ultimately, I'm surprised they haven't, like, tried to do that again with some of the, at least Gen 3. You know, not to be like, oh yes, I want Nintendo to charge me more money. Obviously, I'm a little bit, you know, not in... I'm not out here looking to get charged more for the amount of video games that are there, but it's just like, come on, people love collecting these Pokemon. You could actually... It would actually be a nice thing, instead of having all the people who want to have their full Pokemon collections on home and stuff like that just be kind of fucked on a couple of them. There are still a very small collection of Pokemon that are, to my knowledge, not available outside of having transferred them up. Like, they haven't been released in anything since, like... Well, at least not since Dexit. Like, yeah, obviously nobody's heart is bleeding particularly for Watchog or for the Monkey Trio. But it is still a thing that's missing, so folks who were unable to get those through the DS copies of the games, that, you know, for people who might, for example, not have been born when those games came out, which I know is kind of a thing to be like, oh, those games are like old now, and Pokemon is a franchise that's aimed at all ages, so yeah, I probably should go out of the dungeon and go like find health, but everything is a ways away from here, so yeah, I think that would be a good thing to see at some point. Again, I don't know, maybe when Gen 10 happens. Actually, who am I kidding? That probably will not happen, even after all of the now requisite DLC that will be in it. Who's looking forward, by the way, to the fact that the Gen 10 games are probably going to cost $100 when they come out? Like, I remember that one of the things that I was praising about the idea of Pokemon DLC was like, hey, yeah, total of $90. That's not bad for what would be tantamount to the game plus the additions of a third game, right? So it would basically be the equivalent of, you know, you paid $80 for Ruby and Emerald. If you know, the idea of being that for like Sword and one of its DLC bundle. Which, of course, that ended up not really being the case because those DLCs, you know, they were Pokemon, but they were quite anemic, in my opinion, in terms of the amount of content that they had. And God, I hate fighting Gen 1. I hate fighting Z1 Darknuts. These guys are just kind of the biggest jerks ever. Anyway, yeah, just whatever. Video game prices suck butt, and yeah. Oh no, blue Wizrobes are like mega asshole, but I'm saying those guys kind of suck too. Yeah, ultimately it was going to happen, but it's just like, man, this still sucks because arguably, sure, video games have gotten cheaper, but everything else has gone up around it and wages haven't met it. You know, the same thing that I've said before, so yeah, I think ultimately my overall thought on it, and Nintendo being the one who's doing it, is kind of people are more willing to eat it for being Nintendo as opposed to if it had been like Bethesda or someone. I don't know. Actually, that's probably not true. Bethesda's fans can be very uncompromising in that regard. But I remember when Mass Effect 3 was coming out and somebody was telling me about how it was going to be $70 and how that was, well, I actually realized that was literally only one person who told me anything about that, and then I heard nothing else on the matter from anyone else, and I don't know how much it cost at the time because I wasn't super hooked by Mass Effect. But yeah, I feel like the fact that it's Nintendo means that people are kind of responding to it in a way that's less negative. Because, no offense, as somebody who... I say this as somebody who plays a lot of Nintendo games. I'm literally playing Zelda 1 right now. God damn, these guys are, like, they're turning very aggressively, is all I can say here. The phrase here that I'm looking to say is that Nintendo fans are kind of easy about a lot of stuff like that. In fact, I'd go a little further than that, and I'd say they're marks. It's really mean to say it, I'm sure, and I'm saying it again through this, that I'm doing this, but it's like, man, I see some of that stuff, and it's like, God, some of this is so crass, and nobody has anything to say about it, and I'm not even talking about pricing. Oh, whoops, I tackled a Gibdo again. Whoops. Well, that's not doing great things for my chances here. I should just go buy potions. But again, hey, Dungeons in the Lost Hills, you can't go to the right, so you've got to take a long walk to get anywhere. At this rate, going and doing level 2 would be the faster way to get the magic sword on the go. Oh well. It gives me more time to ramble about what a mess things are related to video games, price, and the business, and all that stuff. That's 100% my fault. I was trying to cut that real close. But yeah, Nintendo absolutely does just get away with a lot of things that really we probably should criticize a little more strongly, but with so many people having such a strong nostalgic attachment to Nintendo, and obviously it's not like the popularity of Pokemon or anything like that has particularly waned among the youth. Or various other Nintendo franchises. I would assume that it's... Damn it, I walked out... God damn it, dude. That was real embarrassing. These don't do anything to these guys, right? I can't arrow these guys? Yeah, I didn't think so. It's not from the front, and... fat chance of landing anything from the side at a range. You know, I highly doubt that it's all, like, gaming boomers who are buying, Mario Odyssey and stuff like that, or, Tears of the Kingdom? Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, if it was Metroid, you'd definitely get him defending the sweatshops. Again, I am saying this as a big Metroid fan to begin with. But, yeah. And not just Metroid, obviously, but that's the immediate one that comes to mind whenever any sort of subject of, like, aggressively over-the-top Nintendo fans comes up, rather. I mean, Fire Emblem also has, but that's a different kind of aggressively over-the-top fan. Those are people who will kill each other over which character they like. That's not necessarily the same, although they might defend the sweatshops. Star Fox probably also, yeah. Although admittedly, I am sort of sitting here like, well, gee, I don't feel like I know that many people who are, like, huge fans of Star Fox the franchise, but also, I mean, Star Fox is a series with, like, 4 games. Asterisk, I think it's a little more than, because there's... Yeah, I mean, that 4 games technically only goes up to Star Fox Adventures, if you want to count Star Fox 2, but which, you know, you should, now that the SNES Classic exists. It's been fully released. Yeah, more or less. That's kind of the case. I used to see a lot of people being very, like, extremely deranged back when Three Houses was the new game and the big one. Like, people would be very, very, again, just sort of over the top, for lack of any necessarily better term, around a lot of the characters in that. Like, the big one that I remember is definitely, like, Edelgard haters, right? Those people are assholes. And I'm not even necessarily saying this as, like, anyone who has any particular attachment toward Edelgard or any other character from that game. The characters in Three Houses are fine, but also a lot of, you know, any caveat about the quality of the writing of Three Houses comes from the fact that the last 2 original Fire Emblem games before that had very uncomplicated characters that were quite a little bit simplistic, basically, and the writing was often a little too goofy, in my opinion, in Awakening and Fates. Shadows of Valentia gets away from all that primarily by virtue of being a remake of a previous game. Speaking of which, I'm surprised that they haven't remade any of the games for GBA yet, but I digress. Yeah, no, keep in mind that I have not played Three Houses yet, to be fair, so I can't speak on any of that sort of stuff. I can mostly just speak on the fact that I spent a rather unfortunate amount of time on the internet, and I saw people, like, prepared to eat each other's faces over someone who is distinctly not real. Is all I can say about that. But, I mean, social media kind of breeds that sort of insane response nowadays, really. I've got a copy somewhere, I just gotta actually remember to play it. I mean, to be fair, I think my opinion is probably that most Fire Emblem games have at least one point of really awful design, but that sounds kind of special. On some oh god, I'm surprised I dodged that. That happened. Alright, so the one who's currently second from the left, yeah, who just turned around and rammed into me immediately, should have one hit left, possibly. There we go. And thank goodness we got a heart. I'm going to just leave this dungeon and I'm gonna go do something else, because, like, this is... That one room, that's the... I have to go there because that's... I'm sure that if I say, oh yeah, that's where the item is, I'm gonna go there and it's gonna just be the staircase or something and I'm gonna be kicking myself. But that is, like, the most important location that I could go to right now in that dungeon, and I'm too bad at fighting those guys. Remember to use your sword to pick up things at that tiny distance. Which, I mean, sure, but it's an odd choice to be like, yeah, you pick it up with your sword. It seems completely nonsensical to me. But who's here to be concerned with that? Anyway, after that lengthy money I think this is a potion shop location, actually. Yes. Alright, give me some drugs. You know what? I'm gonna buy the blue bottle, and I'm gonna use that immediately, and then come back in to get a red. Yes, I'm sure your ears are very happy about that sound. As always. So, yeah, just... most of these companies suck, and that's the most I can say about this in general, with regard to video game-related things. Thankfully, I mostly game on the PC now, so I can also kind of have companies of various dubious quality who are vying for my dollar to play any video game. Because it's like, oh, hey, you could go buy your games from Steam and the dev will see almost no money from it. Or you could go buy your games from Epic and the devs will see more money from it, sure, but Epic also does a lot of exclusivity stuff that they, you know, primarily get away with by waving around the massive amounts of money they have. Yeah, true. GOG is still a... I get emails from them occasionally. Interestingly, I think GOG also has a lot of more modern stuff as well, too, despite being called good old games. And the fact that I always have associated them with being very much a retro re-release platform. GOG has a pretty extensive library of some very interesting stuff. Well, then again, there's a lot of interesting old games for PC, to be fair, so there's a lot of space for it. Oh yeah, that guy's probably still stopwatched, so go in here. Let's get our free 30 rupees. That, again, are probably a little more than we need. Yeah, as usual, thankfully most retro PC game prices are good to start with nowadays. If you're buying like old game through digital platforms, usually they're not horribly priced. Oh yeah, this is where the snakes show up, and I think only in this dungeon in first quest. Second quest, I think they show up somewhere else, and also you get the flashy ones that are upgraded. Roper, maybe Roper? No, I think Roper is the snake from a different game, probably, but yeah, my memory is. Yeah, I was like, wait a sec. When I said Roper, I was confusing them with a snake enemy from a different game because, well, I'm easily confused anyway. Yeah, it's familiar, but as for from where, now I'm at a loss. Wow, there truly was no reason to kill that with a... for that room, because that key was just hanging out already. Very silly thing for me to do with my time, but I'm used to that already. Oh, right. No, we were just in here. Sorry, a lot of these places look very, very similar to each other. As you have no doubt noticed, everybody. It really hiccuped on that one. Was that an instance of like a pack leader enemy? There's a different name for it, but that's where I'm thinking of. Also for... okay. Because I was like, that might be a snake enemy of some sort from Final Fantasy, or maybe I'm confusing it with the Stroper, which is a very different creature from FF9. Which we all remember from its tendency to become too soft to live. And then, oddly, they're using the name for basically a Marlboro in 14. Well, in 14 they're called Morbles because of translation-related reasons. But, you know what I'm getting at. And here's this game's incarnation of the Moldorm. They vaguely, I suppose, replicate some of their later counterparts, mostly by being segmented. On the other hand, they don't push you around, so that part is certainly abnormal. I kind of want to leave those bombs for another time. Overall, it's not a bad time to do... Oh, right, this dungeon has Dodongos guarding the... And I didn't get the magical boomerang. I don't remember where that is in this dungeon. Is it just off to the left and I forgot to bomb through a door or something? Or is it to the side here? 'Cause no, we just... Well... I'll find out in a second. Besides, this dungeon has, well, first of all, plenty of bombs for us to be able to pick up. And second of all, I don't think it has 3 Dodongos as a boss. Yeah, okay. So I was remembering, but my short memory is coming back to make me look very silly right now. Oh well. Whatever. I think that... My point here is, I think this dungeon is a 1 Dodongo boss. Or possibly no more than 2. Ah, I see. An enemy type that I don't recall offhand, then. Well. Again, the thing in... Yeah, the thing in 9 definitely looked a little bit, Right, yeah. Okay, so... Where have I not explored in this dungeon other than... Well... Other than the exit? See, I've clearly been in here, but... It would be a bad idea to just go bombing things willy-nilly looking for that magical boomerang. Which, I mean, realistically, the magical boomerang is not super important. It just would be nice to have it. Its main difference is that it reaches across the entire screen. And to be fair, you kind of already do that vertically, so... I suppose we'll just ignore it. The main reason I'm here is to get a heart container so I can go get the magical sword. I thought I did, though. Maybe it was in a different room. Well, these guys are guarding a bomb. Yeah, so it's not these ones. I could have sworn I... That's all I'll say is... Wow, okay. Don't take my right button input. But yeah, that's the thing I wanted to do with the dongos earlier. Alright, let's take a shot at it. Let's go look for it. Basically, with the dongos, if you bomb them basically in their face and they don't eat the bomb, they get stunned instead. And you can then wail on them with a sword. And as a rule, that is a cheaper way to kill them in terms of amount of bombs used. Which is something that I think I can always support. Okay, yeah, here's another set of bombs that we don't really need right now, so I'm just leaving them there as if it's... Yeah, there's that too, is that when they're in groups, you can sometimes stun multiple of them at the same time. Well, that was a very generous room for health. Oh, this feels like this might be it, because we got a room full of shooty statues and 3 blue gorillas. And yet it is not. Huh. That's odd. It definitely seemed like that's the place where I would have put it anyway. That's the one that has the pack effect here. This is just a room for gels. I mean, I suppose I could just go look it up and be like, hey, yeah, I got the magical boomerang, which I'm not, you know, don't find hugely important, but is kind of nice. Yeah, so I've gone back through every room in this dungeon. So, what the heck? Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go look this up. Hang on. Map. Huh? No, it's in that room, but... Oh, it's because I already have it. Wow, okay. There it is, just staring me right in the face. So it must have literally spawned underneath me at some point, then. I'm paying great attention today, guys. My brain is extremely functional. I literally didn't see it on the map at any point, so... I'm going to assume that it actually did just spawn underneath me when I completed the room. It was, in fact, that room with the shooting statues and the 3 blue gorillas. For anybody who's like, I don't know where you got that from, there you go. It's in the place that like I said, probably made the most sense. And it turns out there was a good reason for me to say that, because ultimately it was the place that made the most sense. Thankfully, I don't have to refight Dong again for any good reason. We can just get out of here. And now I can go all the way around the other side of the map. And go get the magical sword. And then go, well, there's a lot of places I could go from here. I'll have to pick somewhere. I mean, if I wanted to go fight more blue dark notes, I could probably go back into level 8. And just be like, hey, yeah, can I get that magical key? But first we need our magic swords, so that way we can hurt things better. Because that's gonna be the thing that makes stuff a little bit easier for us. Okay, yeah, we got this guy's $100, so we can just walk into the arrow that actually removes our half heart there. Whoops. I thought I still had another hit before that happened, so... And of course, it's ultimately not mattering now with how I'm taking that damage. Up, left, down, left. It's over here. And I forget which stone it is, but I do remember that the magical sword is in the top right of the graveyard. Of course, hell if I know where anything is in second quest, but thankfully we're not here to worry about that today. Oh. There we go. Master using it, and you can have the sword that's at the angle here. Doesn't affect its sprite when Link stabs things. Otherwise, that would be very odd. But I guess they wanted it to look extremely special. Got him. Okay, so Dungeon 6 has the magical rod. Which we don't super need right now. What we really definitely need is the whistle. The recorder. Flute. Instrument. Hey, thank goodness that one was a pack leader, so we had to kill only 2 of those instead of 3. This dungeon, I think, also has a lot of Vyres in it, so... It's doubly a good thing that we have our magical sword, because then we can deal with those much more quickly. There, I believe, is an extra Gleeok in this dungeon. And that's a great time to get the stopwatch, by the way, because... Yeah, 2 blue Wizrobes on the screen. Yikes. And also, then we don't have to think about the likes being as they usually are. Yep. Yeah, see, the one thing that I will give the blue Wizrobes is that they do not shoot as often as the orange ones do. And I know I just played that one in a completely suicidal manner, but... There were a couple of spots there where I was like, I don't know how I can get out of this very easily. I got cornered very quickly. Huh, I think I blocked that with the wrong side of the shield. How odd. Now, if I could remember where any of the bomb walls are, again, I could just go look at it on a map, but... Why do that when I could not do that, I guess? It's a pity these guys aren't going to have drops. So it could be quite useful here. Ah, darn. There's places in this dungeon where you can blow up the sidewalls. I just don't remember where they are offhand. This might even be one of them. Nope. You have to be securely against the side of that block. Darn. Shot twice in a row real fast. That's an unusual attack pattern for the Wizrobes. At least in my experience. Which, I mean, might not be worth much, but... They also have a very strong tendency to spawn on top of each other the first few times in a room. So it will very often produce situations where it's quite hard to tell how many of these dudes there actually are still alive at any given point. And yeah, that guy just tells us, hey, use a bow on Goma. Good use of a key. To be fair, I didn't remember, so... Alright, so we're not back up to this room yet. We're in a slightly different room. Yeah, those guys hit really hard still. Mostly with the magic wave being, like, really grossly strong. Hey, nice, we got the leader and immediately got a stopwatch for our efforts, which is funny, but unfortunate, because... Yeah, now the game is back to not being so generous about health. I don't remember if the Wizrobes can be boomeranged or not, so maybe I should try that. See if that helps us any. I mean, I suppose one smart option also would be to use a potion, which I have kind of already forgotten that I had, so... Ah, I see. Well, speaking of BS then, wait. That's not what that means. Alright. Ah! Of course, I just immediately walk into one of those guys. Wait, do the blue ones deal less damage with their magic? It seems like it, because I think that the last time the orange one did 2 hearts to us. They just have, like, really shitty movement patterns. Which, to be fair, they're Wizrobes. I expect nothing less. Damn. That's not useful. Thank you for the fairy, Gleok. Yeah, it definitely seems to be the orange one. Again, it seems like the main issue with the blue Wizrobes is the fact that they just move horrible patterns. And they can go through blocks. And also that they're, like, really stout for wizards. Oh yeah, that's that room. Wait, no, those guys are blocking something, so I should probably see about trying to get at it. I assume this to be an important endeavor. Oh yeah, it's just guarded by Vires, so... This... Oh, thank goodness I don't have to do any weird block puzzles in the dark. Yeah, see, the orange ones are quite easy to recognize the patterns of, whereas the blue ones are odd. Also, the red ones die very quickly, blue, not so much. They do also have a tendency to be, like, very odd in terms of their patterns of how many magics they shoot at you. As you can tell by all of that. And this is just a staircase. Okay. Which takes us over here. Somewhere very near Goma. At least I believe Goma is the boss of the dungeon. It certainly was mentioned as something to be concerned about, and I assume in that case that it means that it's in here, so... Could just be warning me about a future appearance of Goma, but probably not. Is that 3 hits they take? It's an unusual number. Imagine it would be 4 usually, but eh. Anyway. Nothing in here? I mean, perhaps there isn't. Yeah, there's Goma, just one and done. Yep. Easy peasy. Well, we got our Triforce. We did not get the magic rod. We didn't get the stick. So, I mean, it's probably worth going back in for the stick. Ow. I mean, it's certainly a lot less important to us right now than it would have been a while ago because we have the magical sword. And we already have projectile weapons. I mean, we are pretty well full of money right now. And we have the arrows. So, it's probably less important because I would assume that the damage output of the magical rod is the same as the arrow. The arrow seems to do as much damage as the white sword, which is the case for the magical rod as well. But it sort of serves as a substitution for not having sword beams active because it's the same damage as the white sword, both at melee and range. Fuck. Get away from everything. However, I was gonna say, however, we see that the arrow doesn't work on everything. I don't think the staff works on the whiz robes either. Like maybe the physical hit with it, but in that case, the magical sword is just is stronger. Ah, my head hurts. Anyway, let's go see about getting it anyway. Just to say that we did. Oh, Yowzer, look out, everybody. And yeah, see, just shit patterns and that stuff, and yeah, so the wand isn't even necessary, is it? I could just skip it now. Practically. But yeah, you can see I did not have good attacking patterns on a lot of those blue guys. And they will just maul you if they get a chance. But of course, they really did just kind of like stop fucking around in terms of difficulty a while ago. Ow. Yeah. And there's the other part that you see. We still take 2 hearts from the orange guy's magic at this point, and it's... yeah. Right, so ultimately probably go for it anyway. And it's usable as a melee weapon when you get bubbled, so there is that to account for as well. That does actually have a shocking amount of value. It's in this direction. Ah, yes, more of these scumbags. Get away from the door. I love it, they're spawn camping me. Of course. Yeah, the Wizrobes in general are the worst enemy in the game. Like, both kinds are varying levels of worst. This is kind of where a lot of my anything I was saying about like, oh yeah, this game is pretty well balanced does sort of wreck itself a little bit, because these guys are not. I mean, there's a lot to be said about how blue dark nuts are bad too, but truth be told, I think a large part of that comes down to the fact that a lot of the time you will just find blue dark nuts in packs of like 5 and then some. Get off me. See, at bare minimum, like, blue dark nuts don't tend to multi-hit you so easily as those guys do. Like, I was getting just dogpiled there. I don't remember if bombs are usable on Wizrobes, but theoretically that could be something. They're giving me a lot of bombs in this dungeon. Now I'm having this moment of where is the guy who sells you increased bomb capacity. He's in one of the dungeons, but I don't remember where. Fuck. Stop with the fireballs. And of course, dying to getting shot in the back. I don't want to waste the other potion right now. It's like we're just in here for an item, and also you tend to lose everything so easily sometimes. Oh sure, you're doing that now, huh? Is that what's the big fun thing to do these days, huh? Okay, so we can actually bomb the wizards, then let's put that on. Use that in a couple of these rooms. Yeah, that did good work here, actually. For all 5 of the bombs that we had to use for that. That was... Alright. What is in here? I haven't been in this room yet. Oh, it's a dark room. That's good. I was looking for a place to develop some photos. Wait. Yes, I do. I forget about it all the time for some reason. Alright, I at least need the likes off the door, so that's... No! My magical shield is gone. It's alright. Shield in this game is very odd sometimes, so... I hate these fuckers so much. Well... Good, and now we've lost our shield for this, too. Sometimes the reasons why this game lags are very, very, little inconsistent. Yeah, now I'm getting pissed off because I just keep getting bounced around. Right, I don't have my fucking shield anymore because... This game is... This level is just it's really just this level, I think, but still... It's pretty bad, really. So... Just get me out of here. Right, now I can just go through this room because the... Well... I shouldn't have tried to chicken out there because it wasn't going to work. Well, what was I doing with that? Alright. Does this go anywhere? I forget. I don't think it does, but... Yeah, it didn't look like it. I mean, ultimately we can do this and we can just sort of pick at a few of the enemies slowly. If we're able to reach that guy, apparently. Alright, so... Oh yeah, this is just the... No, this is not just the staircase. I'm sorry, this is where the magical wand is. Very top left. Well, that would be quite helpful if I can get over there, because... Yeah. I'm assuming we bomb from this side then, but... Could be the other side. I think it is a level 6 thing, I just don't remember where in level 6. Well, it's certainly not in that tile, because... Yeah. There are the 2 spots left in the middle here. That's fine. We would like to be able to recover that HP, but... For the time being, it will do. Alright, take the staff. I keep trying to press up and down to select things that way, even though that clearly does not work. Well, that's fine. We're allowed to get liked now because we already have lost our shield. Okay, so the only other way to get into that room would be to go from here. Anything in here? Yeah, this guy tells us how to get to level 7. It's level 4 and 7. Okay, so I missed the one in 4 then. Well, oh well, let's get out of here. And go see about doing level 5, I guess. Or finishing off level 5 anyway, because we're like half done with that, give or take. Depending on what constitutes half done, I suppose. That's fine. Continue. Oh, hey, there's a multi-hit there. Oh, it's in 5? Well, that will make things a little easier. Five's at top right, okay. So, first things first, there's a medicine shop here. And since we're just awash in money as before... Look out for the boulders. Enter from the left. Okay. I gotcha. I just sort of went, wait, do I have the... I have the level 5 man? Oh, I'm in the wrong... Ah, heck. Okay, I gotta go that's right, I gotta go further over. It's on the other side of the river. Here. Go dodge some more rocks. And by dodge, I mean, well... not really be able to predict their patterns in terms of where they're gonna bounce, so they'll be in such a position where I'll be like... Turning left or right is kind of... you know... a Morton's fork a little bit. It's fine, you can remind me where things are, it's fine. I don't remember where like half of this anything is, so... I'd probably miss most of the game if I did this without any sort of assistance. Or certainly not be as far with this as I am already. Welcome to video games of the 1980s, folks. I already got the power bracelet. I think it shows on here. It does. Okay, yeah. No, I just was tagging that guy because I was hoping to get a drop out of one of the Armos. That's all. Well, that's interesting. It looked like I had dodged an attack for a second, and then afterward, the Gibdo was like, yeah, not quite. Okay, well. Let's use our medicine, destroy our ears in the process. As we all love doing. Get out of the way. Okay, yeah, they take 2 hits with the magic sword. I was like, I forget how durable these guys are, except for a lot. The answer is only 2 hits with the magic sword, so that makes things a little easier. Only a little, though, because, as usual, completely immune to damage from the front, and they turn on a dime. Alright, there we go. Now this should let us over to the secret passage. Damn it! So I've been wasting my time trying to deal with this for that long. Well, maybe not. Okay, because this is another section entirely, so... Okay, yeah, this has got to be where the recorder is hidden, right? I see the push block, which means that they wouldn't set this style of room to just be like, hey, yeah, here's enemies that you have to avoid around a single block. That would be odd. But there we go. There's our recorder. Ah, look out. The room for the bomb upgrade is on the map. Second tile down on the right. And that's... Yeah, okay. So that should be able to be gotten to from... Yeah. I was gonna say that's too far down, isn't it? But yeah, there's our bomb upgrade, yeah. I bet you'd like to have more bombs. Yeah, no kidding. I'll pay 100 rupees to be able to carry 12 bombs. Kidding me? That's pretty good, actually. Oh, that's fun. You can only have the one magic wave on screen, obviously, but you can still swing the staff while the energy bolt is on screen. I mean, I'm sure that makes sense. It's just like, I was slightly confused for a second. Alright, so all this adds up to is that the room that's one down from where Dig Dogger is doesn't seem to serve a purpose. It's just kind of there. I mean, I guess it's a safe room to go to when you can't fight Dig Dogger. Can we push any of these blocks to reopen that door, or is that a one-way passage? I mean, it's fine that it is, because we can get it. Yeah, Again, remember, long time since I played this last. Alright, we've dealt with the Dodongos earlier, so we're gonna sneak our way around. Oh yeah. We gotta go to the right. That's correct. And there we go, another end of room stopwatch, as is customary, really. What's this room actually look like? Oh yeah, it is one of these. It is actually one of these. I'll give him one of these, and I'll give him one of those. Wait. Something else. Yeah, that's what I was sort of reasoning at earlier after I was like, do I really need this? And the answer is, well, it would certainly be helpful under those circumstances. Especially after kind of thinking about how many bubbles there were in level 6. Ugh. Ugh. Oh yeah, those guys don't really gain height so much when they do that. It just sort of looks like it. And of course, our introduction to Dig Dogger, we have these statues going at the same time, yeah. And there we go, Triforce piece number 5, aka number 6 for us, because we already did level 6. Alright, where are you taking me, game? Level 6? Eh, it's not so useful to us. Level 1. Alright, so hold up one second. Yeah, I can make the walk to level 7. That's fine. So I think this is like one of the closest places to level 7 that also puts us fairly near the shop, you know, as in we don't have to go too far out of our way in order to go get the cheap bait. But I think once we enter level 7, because I have been streaming for a little over 3 hours, that's going to be a place that I pause and pick this back up tomorrow. I mean, I know that level 9 is quite large, and I don't remember how to get, like, much of anything in there. So, with the way that sort of pans out time-wise, proportionally, it kind of makes sense to do that at least. Oh, there's a fairy. And there we go. There's our cheap haunch. At some point, I gotta remember to pick my magical shield back up. Or at least it would be useful. And here we are, a fairy pond with no fairy in it. So, what do? Well, obviously you play the recorder in front of it. I'm not sure why you would guess that immediately, but thankfully it's a nice safe screen for you to just be like, well, I'm just gonna try things until it works. And yeah, here's level 7. But like I said, we will look into that next time.